Welcome to the Terrible Podcast with your hosts from SteelersDepot.com, where you can find all your latest and greatest Steelers news. It's Dave Bryan and Alex Kozora, always lit, talking Steelers.
And now, here's Dave and Alex.
Welcome to the Terrible Podcast, another special edition of the Terrible Podcast, Pittsburgh Steelers Training Camp 2025. I am Dave Bryan from SteelersDepot.com. It is August the 7th. It is Thursday night. It is 7:45 p.m. in the Eastern Time, out where Alex Kozora lives, fresh off of another trip to Saint Vincent College in Latrobe to watch the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their final training camp practice open to the public before they play their first preseason game of 2025 Saturday night on the road against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Alex, happy Thursday. There's preseason football on my TV. There's tears in my eyes. There's tweets about preseason football all in front of me on my screen as well, too. How are you today?
I'm doing well, better than probably Anthony Richardson right now, who just got clocked and will not return with a finger injury. Steelers play the Colts a little bit later this year, so already kind of having an eye towards those things, but doing well otherwise. Good last day of practice was not the walkthrough, I guess, because Pittsburgh had that walkthrough earlier in camp on that rain out, and so it was a pretty competitive day of practice 2 days before the preseason opener against Jacksonville.
All right, we got a lot to talk about. We'll get the housekeeping done first here. So I'll let you take this round of telling the fine folks about our Terrible Podcast Special Edition sponsor, that, of course, being Touring Plans.
Right, longtime sponsor of Steelers Depot's training camp coverage, touringplans.com, the place to go if you're planning a trip to any of the Disney affiliates, Disneyland, Disney World, Disney Cruise Lines, anything Disney related. You guys should check out Touring Plans to make the trip as painless as possible so you can enjoy the experience and not the hassle of planning things out. So if you want restaurant reviews, times when the park is at its least busy, ways to save money. I know it can get very expensive on these trips, and just any and all information on your itinerary. We're going to talk about itineraries about the Ireland trip tomorrow on the regular podcast, Dave, what Art Rooney had to say there. But if you're going down to anything Disney related, check out touringplans.com and tell them Steelers Depot sent you. Again, we thank them and Len Testa for being a longtime sponsor of these training camp episodes and our overall coverage.
We surely do. Make sure you go to the site right now and bookmark it and go get the app as well, too. You won't be disappointed, and you'll be all prepared for the next time you plan a Disney trip there. All right, Alex, we got a lot of housekeeping to do today. Obviously, I could easily turn this into a 4-hour special edition of the Terrible Podcast with everything that's happened today. We're obviously going to now have a packed Friday morning episode of the Terrible Podcast due to everything that's transpired in the newswire on Thursday. But let's keep it to training camp, and as usual, we talk about roster moves and who's in and who's out.
Yeah, a couple of roster moves getting made today, and I have a feeling a couple more might be on the way. We'll talk about that maybe in a minute, but the two that have officially been made, offensive lineman Andrews Pete, the former first-rounder, signed for some offensive line depth. He ran third-team left tackle today. Mike Tomlin highlighting his versatility, but right now it's left tackle for Andrews Pete, and a quarterback has been added after Will Howard's hand injury. It is Logan Woodside, the guy we talked about. There's a reason why you listeners have to put up with Dave and I hemming and hawing around for names on the podcast. Sometimes we land on the right. When we mentioned Logan Woodside the other day, he is in Pittsburgh now. He's got strong connections with Arthur Smith in Tennessee and Atlanta, wearing number 6. Pete, by the way, wearing number 68. Woodside did not work in the team periods today, individual only. Mike Tomlin says the chance he might play in the preseason opener, but just getting some quarterback depth to get through the summer.
All right, and who's out the door?
The two corresponding moves are long snapper Tucker Addington, who never really had much of a chance to really unseat Christian Kuntz, and Nick Broker, who I think might have a short trip back to Pittsburgh because they're getting pretty thin at center right now, but Nick Broker out and Pete in.
All right, props to you and us for talking a little bit about the Logan Woodside possibility a couple of days ago, and props to you for having for your observations on Nick Broker being at the bottom end of the rep into things on the offensive line, and he, at least for now, he was the first guy out the door here. And like you said, because of Ryan McCollum and all like that, we'll have to see. Maybe he got to the airport and maybe he got a text to come back. We'll definitely probably see by the morning time, because they could potentially be down another offensive lineman, Andres Pete. We'll talk a little bit more about him in the morning, but not surprised to see him get the reps at tackle. He's a versatile tackle slash guard. Obviously, played a lot of games in the NFL as well. Has pedigree. Not shocked that he's the guy that the Steelers settled on there. What else do you have for us as far as in and out for today?
Sure, the housekeeping from the injury front, not practicing today. Cornerback Corey Trice Jr., Dante Kent, the rookie cornerback Jalen Ramsey, wide receiver Calvin Austin III, tight end DJ Thomas Jones, tight end Jonnu Smith, wide receiver DK Metcalf, quarterback Will Howard, offensive tackle Calvin Anderson, edge Alex Highsmith, edge TJ Watt, defensive lineman Cam Hayward, and inside linebacker Patrick Queen. A lot of rest here, obviously, but a couple injuries, Trice, Kent. I guess Ramsey's probably dealing with something minor, but he looks okay overall. Calvin Austin still working his way back. Thomas Jones, he got hurt early in camp, came back, now apparently hurt again. They're getting thin at tight end too. Smith with that knee, I think a little bulky there, but probably okay overall. And then Hayward has the contract situation, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, a lot in the regular Friday show. So that's apparently the main reason why he's really not done a whole lot in training camp, is he's looking for some sort of revised or new deal.
Yeah, get ready. I've got a lot to say about, and I've got an article up on the site about the Hayward and Boswell news to tide people over until Alex and I talk about it Friday morning there. And we'll also go in length. Boy, we could spend another 15 minutes going through the list of players that Mike Tomlin talked about who aren't going to play Saturday night against the Jaguars as well, too. But once again, we'll try to keep this thing to about, I don't know, 38 minutes or so, talking about training camp practice on Thursday. So let's start with the offensive line.
Well, let me just do a quick injury recap of the guys coming back and the injury during practice today. I ran out of steam breath-wise, so I was giving myself a chance to catch my breath. Returning to practice, Darius Slay, who had an off day yesterday. Derek Carmen is back, so he had something minor on Wednesday, so that's good to see. Obviously, Joey Porter Jr. and Gareth Warren were full. The corner and rookie offensive tackle Cole Holcomb also returning after missing practice on Wednesday. The one injury I noticed in practice was very early. Ryan McCollum, the center who's battled something on and off throughout training camp. Yeah, he did not even get to really individual periods. He dressed today, and then I saw the head trainer, Gabe Ampensah, talking to him. I think McCollum was trying to plead his case to work, and he looked pretty dejected as he walked up the stairs and into the team facility. So the Steelers were left with just two centers today. The only two guys that snapped at all were Zach Frazier and Max Sharping. DeMarvin Leal got dinged and checked out, looked like a head neck thing, but he finished out practice, so hopefully he's good to go.
What happened to Roman Wilson today?
I didn't even see it until he had already come back. I think there was a tweet from one of the reporters. He was getting stretched. This can happen. Guys might cramp up a little bit, get a little tight. Logan Lee was trying to get loose by the end of practice today, but Wilson finished, and so I assume he's okay.
All right. You ready to take your MASH clothes off?
My MASH clothes off? Oh, for the injury? Yeah. I'm a little late on the reference there, but just enough. I love Alan Alda, but all right. Yeah, let's get into the practice here, Dave.
Did you ever get into, you can catch those reruns on one of those cable channels constantly as well, too. I highly recommend watching all the MASH episodes. Okay, offensive line. We talked a little bit about Pete getting that left tackle work. I suppose we're going to probably see him a little bit Saturday night in that game. Probably, I don't know, we'll see if he gets both tackle spots or whatnot. What else happened on the offensive line?
I think Broderick Jones has stacked together some good days. I'm sure it helps. You don't have to face Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt, those guys sitting out. But even against Nick Herbig, and just overall, just my overall feel is that Jones has had some quality days and reps. Does that guarantee he's going to have a good preseason game or certainly a regular season? No, but just observing what's happening. He took a lot of heat, and understandably so. It was a pretty tough start for Broderick Jones, both in play and injury. But I think he's had some nice days, and it's worth being able to counterbalance some of the discussion on Broderick Jones this summer. Gareth Warren, I think he's got a good base. I think he's able to seal wide against some of these bigger power rushers, the Marvin Leals of the world, but some of those craftier guys like Jack Sawyer really gave him trouble in the 2-minute drill, but spent some time really trying to watch Gareth Warren today because he's missed about a week practice with that knee injury. It's probably still not 100%, but he needs the reps and is out there at right tackle after playing left tackle in college. And then just to again mention the center lines getting really thin. You have Frazier, who will play in this game, I assume, Saturday, but probably not play a ton, a quarter and a half or so. And then Max Sharping. You do have some other options, Mason McCormick, Spencer Anderson, but they're getting really thin at center. So I think they're going to have to add somebody there before the game.
All right. We'll look for that first thing in the morning. All right. Anything else to add on the offensive line for this final practice?
No, I think in terms of guys moving around, again, Pete, third team left tackle. You had Warren kick over to the right side instead. Nestor playing, I think, both guard spots, but everything else pretty status quo.
All right. Tight ends. Could we see another one of those come through the door here tomorrow?
I think you could if Thomas Jones cannot get back, and I don't know what's going on there with him because I guess Darnell Washington will probably play a little bit in this one day, but then behind that, you're with, J.J. Galbraith and Connor Hayward, and am I missing somebody else? I think those are the three right now, and
I think that's it, right?
Pretty light to get you through a game, knowing that guys like Galbraith will play on special teams. So if Thomas Jones can get back, then I think you're good if you can go with 4. Otherwise, maybe Kevin Fulch finds his way back in Pittsburgh.
Galbraith's going to get a lot of burn, ain't he? That's got you excited, right?
I am. Yeah, he's a guy that had a really good start. Sometimes those really good athletes get a little quieter when the pads come on. And he's he's kind of buried in a deep tight end room, obviously, that spreads the ball around. He still made some plays, had the leaping catch yesterday, pretty quiet today. So I'm excited to see him, not just offensively, obviously, but special teams. He's gotten some work there. And if he has any chance to unseat Connor Hayward, who had a nice day today, had a couple nice catches, he was pretty active. Galbraith's going to have to really ball out on special teams.
All right. What do you have at running back for today?
Pretty light overall there. A little more emphasis on guys like Trey Sermon and some of these running backs, these backups you're going to see a lot this weekend. Caleb Johnson had a nice catch late in practice, a little crossing route. It wasn't a deep ball, but it was a really good hands catch and probably the best catch he's made of training camp so far, at least in the team period. So just a quick note there on Johnson making a play outside of him being just a runner. Also, this kind of just is an overall schematic thing. They're running twice today, Dave. They ran this really elongated, delayed throwback running back screen. And I don't know if that's going to be something they're going to try in this game, maybe just testing out what it's like, but it is where the quarterback waits 3-4 seconds to try to throw the screen. It's almost like the running back is leaking out like that old wide leak play. So I don't know how it's going to work in a game. Could be kind of messy. If it does hit, it could be a big gainer, but that was kind of an interesting schematic wrinkle I saw today.
All right, put that one on the board. Let's see if we can get it to come to fruition Saturday night and hang your hat on that for a victory lap. Let's go to wide receiver today.
Rock Taylor is the king of back shoulder fades. This guy catches every back shoulder fade thrown at him in the 2-minute drill. The offense finally put the ball in the end zone in a 2-minute drill, and that was really aided by a Rock Taylor catch left sideline versus Kyler McMichael from Thompson to Taylor. He's made 3 or 4 of those. I think Thompson even referenced he's caught a couple of those balls and has really kind of helped me out, Thompson said, referring to himself throughout training camp. That's kind of where he's won overall. Scotty Miller's made some plays. The number 5 spot, I wonder how open it is right now because I think your top 3 are your top 3, obviously Metcalf, Austin, Wilson. I think Skoronek's got the number 4 spot pretty much sewn up at this point. So number 5 between Robert Woods, who had a really nice diving catch today. Miller's consistently made plays. That'll be a fun battle to watch. And Rock Taylor will throw his hat into the ring as well.
All right. And Roman?
I don't know if Roman did a whole lot today. I'm trying to think if he was in my notes a whole ton. Hit a nice catch in 1-on-1. That was a completion for 12 yards. Not a super notable day. These things always ebb and flow, but he was out there working, start to finish.
All right. Does that sew up the offense? I think it does, doesn't it? Any closing notes on the offense?
Yeah, just for the quarterbacks overall, I thought a good day for all 3. Nothing. I mean, there were some good throws across the board. I just think all 3 ran the show well, and the offense made some plays, and the quarterbacks obviously are the catalyst for all of that.
Do you think we'll see Logan play at least, final couple series Saturday night?
Logan Woodside, that's a good question. I think it'll basically go Rudolph first half, Thompson second half, and then maybe Woodside at the end. I think if you're in a 2-minute situation, you just keep those reps to Thompson because he's gotten the most amount of work. He's been with the team the longest. If you're up and you're handing the ball off a couple times, maybe one play action pass, then Woodside comes in. So that might be a little situational. Obviously, how Woodside gets on the moving train. The good news is the reason why we cited Logan Woodside was because he is so familiar in the Arthur Smith offense, so he can pick it up a lot quicker than some other guy off the street who hasn't worked in that system before. But if we see Woodside, it's going to be very little. I'm pretty sure in saying that.
What's the best throw that you saw today from Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, from Rodgers in particular? Oh, man, I got to try to think. There was one in particular today. I don't think he threw one of the deep balls to. I think he threw a deep ball to Woods that Woods dove out for and couldn't haul in. And then I think it was Rudolph that hit him on the completion later. So maybe it was that deep ball overall. But I don't know if there was a real standout throw that was complete today. But that was a good day for Aaron Rodgers.
All right. Let's jump over to the defensive line. Another day, another bat down, at least one for Wyatt Black, huh?
Yeah, Y.A. Black continues to bat down passes. He's probably up to a half dozen in training camp so far. I know offensive linemen. I don't know if it's a rule that they can't really knock him down the way that they can and will in game. It might be one of those, like you can't hit the quarterback and you can't cut and that kind of stuff. But I mean, he's doing that pretty consistently. So a nice day for him. Just he does the little things well, chase the ball, get his hands up in throwing lanes. Just overall hustle. Ball search, that kind of stuff. So not a lot of other notes overall. I think some of the backup defensive linemen have been kind of interesting. Dominic Davis has some power. Kyler Baugh has some energy he plays with. I mean, those guys will be playing a lot in the second half of this game.
All right. I look forward to watching Logan Lee Saturday night and Quale and some of these other guys because obviously much time Benton gets out there, probably won't be much. The good news is I think Mike Tomlin still expects Derek Harmon to play Saturday night after him missing a practice the other day there. So there's good news there. We'll get to focus on him a little bit there. All right.
And Benton had a good tackle for loss late in
Okay.
team period on Caleb Johnson. So I haven't mentioned him a whole lot, but that was good. Lee, I assume he will play. Walk with the assumption he will, but he was trying to really get that back loosened up today, and he did finish out practice. But I wonder how that's going to wake up in the morning if he's going to be feeling it. So just saying, file this away in the in case department. If he doesn't play, that may be why come Saturday.
All right, outside linebacker. We learned today that not only will T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith not play, but Nick Herbig won't play Saturday night either, according to Mike Tomlin. So that leaves guys like Sawyer. We'll see what happens with Leal and a couple of these other outside linebackers. These guys better get a good night's rest Friday or Friday night because they're going to be burning the candle at both ends on Saturday night.
They're all going to be about 10 pounds lighter after this game because they're going to be working pretty hard. And you do wonder, will they sign somebody? I mean, assume Leal plays, you have Leal and Sawyer. That'll probably be your starting pairing now that Herbig. Are you surprised Herbig is not going to play at all in this game?
I'm a little bit, but Mike Tomlin probably knows what he has. I'd like to see him out there against a run or, I'd like to see him lather up for a series or two just to getting off blocks and playing to run more than anything. We know he can rush the passer and all.
He's been a king of some of these preseasons, some big time production there. So I think they've kind of seen all they need to see there. But yeah, Leal and Sawyer and then Welshoff and Leota. And that's basically it, right?
Let's see. Leota, Sawyer, Welshoff. Damn. Yeah, I think that's it, ain't it?
Yeah, 4 guys. I mean, you could do some 4 down fronts.
Leal?
They have done that. Yeah, right at Leal. I mean, probably enough. You probably roll the dice and think you can get through it without having to add somebody sight unseen and how much are they going to play if you go sign a guy off the street. But in terms of the practice, Sawyer had some good reps. He was really hurt, abusing, pass rush wise, Gareth Warren today in that 2-minute drill. So, it's a rookie that just, it's rookie on rookie. It's not a shock to see Sawyer win against an undrafted guy like Warren, who's playing right tackle, out of position, missing time. But just watching a guy win when he should win, and that's a good box to check for Jack Sawyer.
All right, inside linebacker. You ready to watch Peyton Wilson Saturday night and wear the green dot?
Yeah, that's exciting. I know Patrick Queen won't play. Mike Tomlin announced that. Queen got the day off today, too. So Wilson's had some of those green dot duties assigned to him already. So, yeah, I think he's had a nice camp overall. Excited to see him in year 2, see the run defense and, getting off of blocks and trusting his instincts a little bit more than he did, I think, last season. Malik Harrison's had some good practices. I think it was really him and Holcomb rotating in as that starting inside backer with Queen getting the day off. And so those guys getting some extra reps.
I guess Malik Harrison's got some position flexibility to play on the edge, I guess, if you got in the pitch, huh?
Yeah, it's true. He did that in those 5 down fronts in Baltimore. So, yeah, that's a fair point.
All right. We'll see probably a lot of Devin Harper, Carson Bruner. What kind of days do those guys have today?
Harper, I think, had a pressure or near sack in one of those, team periods where you can't hit the quarterback. Robinson had one too on one of those screen passes. So nothing super notable overall. I think Bruner's been relatively quiet. Harper's trying to fight for some reps, but two guys that'll be certainly worth watching, and we'll get a lot of burn in the second half of this game.
This is one of those games where Mark Robinson could have double-digit tackles, right?
Yeah, I mean, he'll be flying around. I'm sure he's a veteran that's going to get some young guys. And now the Jaguars, we'll talk about it more tomorrow. They're going to play some of their starters in this game. I'm sure not super long, but Lawrence will play, and rookie Travis Hunter is going to play, and I'm sure the other stars are going to be out there offensively if Lawrence is going to go. So that'll be kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, it will. All right, what do you have on our defensive backs today?
Deshaun Jameson continues to catch my eye, getting extra reps with the team being thin at nickel with Ramsey out and Kent out and still working his way back. So, just the physicality, demeanor. Not a big guy. I think he's 5'9", $184 was his listing coming out of school. Where did he go to school? Is he one of those Compass, Michigan? Deshaun Jameson. Where
Texas.
Did he go?
He's Texas. But by way of by way of somewhere else. Trying to remember where all he went to school. I can't recall. Didn't he transfer? I don't remember.
No, I think he was at Texas the whole time. It looks like. So, but yeah, good demeanor, physical guy overall. They're doing a stock block drill where the receiver takes the toss and the receiver downfield has to block the corner. And it was Jameson beating Woods. He beat him yesterday in team period on an RPO. Beat him today 1-on-1. Got a lot of love from his teammates for that. So that's a guy that probably be on my short list of guys to watch because Kent, I doubt will play in this one. Ramsey's not going to play, so your slot corners are really Bishop and Jameson. So Jameson might have the whole second half to himself.
All right, and it sounds like suiting up tomorrow will be who? Bishop, Eccles, Jameson, McMichael, Pierre.
You mentioned McCutcheon. Did you mention Cameron McCutcheon?
Yeah, so those they'll have plenty of corners to work with if they don't release one to make room for someone else.
And the other Porter, Daryl Porter Jr.,
number
39.
Porter, yep.
You see that 39 on your screen. So those should be your corners in this one, yes.
Yeah, they got they've got more than enough to get through the game on that. Safety?
Yeah, tough to evaluate today. Chuck Clark had a good pop on Max Hurlman in that 2-minute drill. Killebrew, was a good collision between him and Caleb Johnson. Killebrew hit the ground. I assume he probably wasn't going full force trying to really hit Johnson because it was a non-tackling day overall. But yeah, not a whole lot there. Pretty much status quo. It was Elliott and Thornhill. I wonder who will start opposite Thornhill in this game because Elliott's not going to play. Will it be Killebrew or Chuck Clark, Dave?
Yeah, good question. They might roll Killebrew out there first. I don't know.
That wouldn't surprise me. But either way, those guys will play, and then you'll have your third teamers of Quindell Johnson, Sebastian Castro finish this game out.
All right, what do you got on the specialist today, if anything? I know who's not kicking Saturday night.
Yeah, Chris Boswell not kicking. He has kicked in training camp some, so this may be, considered a hold-in by some. He has done some activity, more than I thought he would be for a guy who's probably angling for that contract we'll talk about on Friday. But, there's nothing crazy today. Some kickoff work, just in terms of getting guys aligned. Danny Smith coaching them up. Some, Jameson on gunner, kind of the same names in the return lines. Nothing really new there, so they'll all get rotated in pretty good in this game.
Tell me about the punt protection team on the wings and the up back.
Way to my heart, Dave. What do I have here from today? I mean, it's been a couple different guys. Obviously, Killebrew has been the overall starting up back and will be for the season. Today, it was Killebrew and then Lou Nichols and Evan Hull, the running backs, working as wings. They mix in a lot of people. In the past, I've seen Jack Sawyer get work there, Peyton Wilson get work there. Carson Bruner has gotten work there, but today on the line, so the quote unquote offensive line for the punt team, it was Mark Robinson, Eku Leota, Nick Herbig, and JJ Galbraith with Kuntz the snapper sandwich in between, obviously. So I've seen Galbraith get a lot of work there. Obviously, Mark Rob's been a four-face teamer throughout his Steelers career. I mean, Herbig won't play. We'll see who takes that spot. Leota should get a lot of burn there as well.
All right, they have no backup long snapper, so who's the emergency long snapper?
Logan Lee should be. He was snapping at Orion High School. He did that last year. He snapped a bit this year. We're snapping today in the very early, not even special teams periods, but just the very early on the field practice type stuff. And so Lee's got the job, I guess, if Kuntz does not finish this one out for any reason.
All right, I tried to play Stump the Truck.
Not this time, Dave. I'm sure tomorrow you'll get me when we're talking about these contracts.
Not today, Satan.
Can I get just and I'm gonna buzz in if you go over. Can I get a 30-second thought on the Hayward Boswell contract stuff as a little teaser for tomorrow? What was your first reaction that was coming? You've called that.
All right, Boswell, no surprise there. I mean, that's going to be a short discussion from me and you on Friday there. The Hayward thing, yeah, I mean, I definitely can understand it. I'll make a good point of why he's doing that, and I'll push back a little bit why people are focusing too much on that extension that he signed last year as part of it here. But I mean, you got a guy here that's not even going to make $15 million this year in cash, coming off of a season that he made $16 million last season, and people look at that extension and say, well, okay, yeah, he signed that, but he didn't get any new money for 2024 as part of that extension, and there was no guaranteed money past last year. So, when you look at, he's only scheduled to make, what was it, $14.75 million this year, and you look around the league at some of the cash, some of these other defensive linemen like DeForest Buckner and the guy out in Seattle, what those guys are, he's got a perfect case here, and I think they should move money up from 2026 to 2025, at least get him in that cash range of those other two players there, and then worry about next year.
All right, good deal. We'll talk about it extensively tomorrow, including your thoughts on what will happen. Will the team actually do that or not? So buckle up. Tomorrow's going to be a heck of a show.
Yeah, we'll preview the game. We'll talk about the Jaguars' plans. We'll talk about the contract situation with Boswell and Hayward. We'll give a final injury. We're going to have our hands full tomorrow, so that could be a 4-hour show if Alex lets me. But I bet he won't. But all right,
I'm going to try.
All right, Alex, good job today, and I know you and I are both excited heading into this weekend. We'll have a lot of content on the site on Friday, obviously have a lot of pregame stuff up on Saturday, and as we get through the weekend, obviously film cut-ups, film rooms, everything imaginable related to the Steelers' first preseason game against the Jaguars, and in the meantime, you and I will be back on Friday morning with a full episode of the Terrible Podcast there. So, in the meantime, as always, you can follow me on Twitter at Steelers Depot. Follow Alex at Alex_Kozora. Follow the show at Terrible Podcast. Email the show, theterriblepodcast@gmail.com. If you like what we do and want to donate to the cause, SteelersDepot.com, hit the donate button. Also, if you like an ad-free version of the site, hit the upper right navigational bar and follow the directions that way. So until Friday morning, as always, thanks for listening to the Terrible Podcast, another special edition of the Terrible Podcast, Pittsburgh Steelers Training Camp 2025 with Dave and Alex.